Mimi, thank you for joining me today on Pop Culture Unplugged.
Thanks for having me.
Exciting times. We have a new show premiered, 3 weeks ago now, about give or take.
October 29th. Yes, October
Uh,
29th. So I'm
yeah.
so excited.
Yeah. How's it been for you? With the Wizards Beyond Waverly Place. How's been your life so far with this?
It's been great. It's honestly been a dream come true. This show kind of came out of nowhere for me. It was my first audition after the strike. And then we got started in May, and it's just been an amazing 6 months. I can't believe we're already filming the finale.
Wow, that's awesome. We're gonna jump
Yeah.
more into the show in a few minutes too. I was doing some research on you. We mentioned earlier, before we went on the air, fellow half Greek for you, but fellow Greek. You grew up in a Greek family, but your father's in the entertainment industry, from
Yes,
what I saw.
yes. So, yes, my dad is the Greek one. And I was raised in a very, to be very proud of being Greek. So I really am. And then, yeah, he is in the business. He's in a different capacity now. I always joke he's the most unretired, retired person I've ever seen because he's so busy. I was like, wait a second, when are you going to calm down? He's doing a million things. He's consulting and executive producing and doing a bunch of stuff now. But yes, for many, many years, he was a studio head. And so he ran Fox and then Paramount. And so it was a really interesting way to grow up because I was growing up around the business, but he was very clear that I wasn't allowed to work as a kid. So the deal was that I had to go to college and then I could be an actor. I think he was hoping I would outgrow it, and then I never did.
Yeah. What's his reaction been like now that you are in the business and you're doing your thing?
Oh my gosh, he's so supportive, and he always was. I mean, he never ever discouraged me from becoming an actor. I always loved this, and he was always very, very, very supportive. And every drama camp and
Yeah.
pre-college program and the whole thing. His only thing was he would say to me, "Look, this is really hard. It's a hard life. So that makes me nervous as a dad, but I will support you and guide you and advise you in whatever I can." So really, I went to Carnegie Mellon. I was on the East Coast, and when I came back he's just been a huge sounding board, and his advice is invaluable because he knows the business, but he doesn't know it as an actor. So it's kind of
Yeah.
nice that we have these sort of opposite worlds.
Was there always a backup plan? Like, if the acting didn't work out, at least you'll do something behind the scenes. Did you ever think about that?
No, there was never a backup plan, and that got dicey several times.
Yeah.
Because I had a really sort of circuitous route to this show. When I graduated school, I worked a lot right away, and those first 3 4 years were really busy, and I was very lucky. And you think that's always how it's going to be, and then I got a big serving of humble pie, and there were many years where it was really slow, and some of them I wasn't working at all, and so I had every other job in the book, you name it.
Mm,
But I am grateful for those years too. I think it's given me more perspective and a bigger sense of gratitude for what I have now and how incredible this show is. Not just because the show is amazing, but because it's part of such a beloved franchise. So it's really an
right.
honor to be part of it. So yeah, those years of struggling were well worth it to get here.
Mm,
But it was a windy road for sure.
yeah. What's the ultimate goal? Do you like the ultimate goal? Like, you want to hit a certain level, role that you want to play someday? Like, what's the dream?
So I love sitcom. I really
Okay.
feel like it's the format I was truly made to do. I've always, I grew up on I Love Lucy and the Carol Burnett show
All
and
right.
Laverne and Shirley, and then later Friends and Will and Grace. I love, love, love sitcoms. So I would love to stay in the sitcom world. Obviously, I would love to just work for the rest of my life. I
Yeah.
think that goes without saying. But I really love this format. It's not only, it really feeds the little theater nerd in me because you're basically doing, you're filming a television show, but you're doing it in front of a live audience. So
Yeah.
it's also kind of like live theater. And I really love that. So eventually I would love to be on sitcom for the rest of my life. I'd love to create and produce sitcom. So I'd love to, delve into that side of things as well. But I love this world.
Amazing. Let's talk about the show now. Like, how were you approached for this? Was this on an audition? Was this somebody you worked with before that said, "Hey, we might have a role for you"? How did that happen?
So it was totally random, but there's actually like a really cool, like kismet element to it. So this was my first audition post strike. It was second week of January. The town was still pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Typically, you don't auditions don't start rolling in until, at least in my case, like February. So it was really early, and they said, hey, they sent me the appointment, and it was like, hey, it was Friday at 5 o'clock. And they were like, we need this back Monday at 9 a.m. And I was like, that's weird. That's a really quick turnaround. It's very unusual. Now that everything's on tape, it's like you can get an audition and it's due in 5 days. So I was like, oh, maybe they're replacing someone. And I'm like, I mean, I didn't care, but I was like, maybe it's that. I don't know. I came to find out later, I was one of the last roles to be cast. So they
Oh,
had found the kids pre-strike, and or maybe during the strike. Either way, the kids were already cast. And so finding who Justin's wife would be was like let's get this done because we're shooting this pilot really soon kind of thing. So I sent in a tape. I did it on a Sunday with my husband, who always jokes. He's like, never knew that part of part of my marriage vows would be like, I would be the other actor. I'd be the cameraman, the lighting guy. He's great at all of it. I mean, he's definitely grateful that now I'm on a series, so he doesn't have to do it for a minute. But we taped it, and then I heard back. It was a really fast process. So I've done network tests and been sort of in contention for roles where the whole thing can last like 2 weeks. And this was super quick. My tape went in on Monday. They called me back on Tuesday. I had a test deal on Wednesday, and I had the job on Thursday. So it was really fast. And the network test was, in front of 50 Disney executives and the creators of the show and the producers, and then David Henrie, whose wife I play, of course, the original Justin Russo, the only Justin Russo.
yeah.
And he was so wonderful. And he read with me. There were a couple other girls there. It was like a group of 5 of us. He read with me. And, I've been in those things where you read with people and, the actor who's already cast, like, doesn't know their lines, or they're sitting in a chair. I mean, he was like up out of the chair, memorized, talking to me. And I just thought, God, this person is so generous and lovely as an actor. Like, I would love to work with him. And the material was so great. And so it just felt like it all sort of fell into place. But the Kismet
Mm.
moment is that 10 years, almost to the month before my Wizards audition, David and I were cast opposite each other in a reading of a screenplay written by a mutual friend of ours. And she did like a staged reading of it and filmed it to sort of generate interest and hear the movie out loud. And I remembered that. And so I dug up the photo. And after I got the job, I was like, David, this is us 10 years ago. So it was really
Did,
special. But yeah, it was a traditional process for sure.
mm. Did you with the Disney, I've talked to other people that worked for Disney too. They've was this like a secretive thing? Like, did you know what you were auditioning for right away? Because sometimes they like to keep things
No.
okay.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that. So again, because my process was basically like 4 days, it was so
Yeah.
fast. I knew pretty quickly, but the original sides were the actual scenes, but they were like fake names, and it
Okay.
was called Untitled Floogie Pilot, which was just like it has something to do with the show, but at the time I just thought it was a made up word. And so yeah, there was some secrecy surrounding it for sure, but then very quickly they were like, "Hey, this is Wizards," and I was like,
Uh,
"Oh my god!" Yeah.
how does it feel to join like an iconic universe like this now?
It's so exciting. It's an honor. But it's also intimidating. I was
Yeah.
definitely nervous, as first of all, because he had girlfriends on the original show that people liked. And so I was like, okay, well, he went on and married somebody that the fans are not familiar with. So
Mm.
I really wanted the original fans to like me. I really wanted the new fans to like me. But more than that, I really wanted to know that I was really serving and honoring like the heart and the humor of the original show, which is what made it so, pardon the pun, magical, because it
Yeah.
really is why people love the Russo family so much. So I wanted to make sure that what I was contributing was living up to that legacy. So
Mm.
it was a fun challenge.
Yeah. What is the description of the character of Giada?
So Giada is an investigative reporter and a mom. She loves her family fiercely. She's Justin's wife, and she's a little more outgoing, a little bit more spunky, a little bit more on the wild side than he is. So she sort of coaxes him out of his comfort zone. She's silly, she's funny, she's sarcastic. She really tells it like it is. You don't wonder what she's thinking, which I think is really fun. And she's just a good time. I mean, she's a really fun character to play. And sometimes I think in other kids shows and things, you see the parents and it's sort of like they walk in and they go, how's school, and then you never see them again for the whole episode. And the unique thing that our writers have done here and our producers and Selena and David themselves is really made sure that because the original stars, David and Selena, are now the adults on this show, that the adult characters have a very full life and very full
Mm.
storylines. And we have scenes that the kids aren't even in with us, you know? So I have a career and we get to see that. And so it's really cool. It's really fulfilling. She's like a very full character.
Mm. How sad are you? Like, you're like the mortal, the magical family. Like no magic for you as far as we know.
Yes, as far as I know too. Yes, I am immortal. It's really fun. Through the course of the first couple episodes. My character Giada finds out that she's married to a wizard,
Yeah.
and it was a really fun reveal. The way they wrote it was just brilliant, and it was really fun to be the character that's sort of in the dark because she's really smart, right? And she's an
Yeah.
investigative reporter. So the ways that they had to hide it from her had to be like things she wouldn't catch. And so there's all these, tip of the hand where they're like, is this the time she's going to figure it out? And then, when it's eventually revealed, like it was so fun to play that of just being like, are you kidding me? Like what? So yeah, it was a really good ruse. They had a good storyline there.
Mhm. How would you describe the relationship with her and Billy?
It's really sweet.
Yeah.
There's a scene in one of the first couple episodes. I want to say it's in like one of the first four, or it's a Halloween episode actually, where Billy is talking about how they celebrate Halloween in the wizard world, and there's a really poignant moment of the two of us at the breakfast table, and I say, listen, so much is different for you. Like your whole life is changing, and like we're going to do everything we can to make this feel like home. And Giada as a character has two boys, and she is a very fun, loud, hilarious boy mom, but all of a sudden there's this girl living with them, and Justin is her mentor, and she's very powerful. And I think they've written it in a way where there are these mom and daughter moments that are really special and really sweet and have their own sort of flavor to them that I really enjoy. And Janice is so brilliantly talented. All the kids are. They're truly unicorns. These kids are amazing.
Mm. I was reading online that you mentioned, David plays Justin. The chemistry has been great between you two. First of
Thank
all, how does
you.
that make you feel? And then how easy is it to build like that dynamic relationship on set?
Oh, it's so great. Like I said, I mean, from the minute I met him, David was so lovely, so generous, so welcoming. And it's interesting because we have six people in the main cast and four are
Yeah.
kids, and David is the original star and our executive producer, so he's my husband and my boss. So I'm sort of the only one that's not a kid and not in charge. But he has been truly amazing. He is so collaborative. He's so thoughtful. He gives great notes. And honestly, he's just so good and so talented and so great at playing Justin that it makes my job easy. It's like all I got to do is respond to him. But the chemistry is something. Sorry, you might hear my
That's
puppy.
okay.
The chemistry is something that we really didn't have to work for. We instantly had a friendship. I adore his wife. He loves my husband. They're in a fantasy football league together. His wife and I are texting. What are you wearing to the premiere? What's that new skincare thing you were telling me about? And we go out for dinner with them. I mean, we really have a lovely relationship. So I couldn't be more grateful to be playing his wife.
Has there been any talks about a season two? Have you heard anything?
Oh, well, we hope the fans want one. That helps us a lot. We haven't heard anything yet. We probably won't just yet, but
Yeah.
we're feeling positive about it. People seem to like it. We hope they like it. We hope they'll continue to watch it and rewatch it and get excited for the new episodes to drop. We're every Friday on Disney Channel, and the first eight are on Disney+. So the more people like it, the more
Yeah.
there's more hope for that.
Right. Is it this? It's 10 episodes, right?
So the first season's actually 21
Oh,
episodes.
they're
So
doing
we're filming
21.
we're doing
Wow.
21. It's
Wow.
amazing. It's
Like old
been
school.
old school, right? Yeah, they don't do that anymore. So we feel so lucky that Disney really believed in the show and really knew what they had in creating this sequel. David and Selena and everyone at Disney was very intentional with how they put this together. They always said if they
Mm.
ever brought the Russos back, they wanted to do it in a really intentional way. And that was everything from who they cast and the right vibe and the right parents and the right kids and all of that, but also just the vibe on set. David and Selena are very open about how wonderful the culture of their set was in the first
Yeah.
show, that it was, people were kind, it was full of kindness, they felt safe, they felt free to collaborate and try new things and grow as actors and as kids. And so they really wanted that for our set too, so they were very intentional about how they did this, and so was Disney. And so to give us
Mm,
21 when we got that back eight halfway through the
right.
season, it was a really exciting thing. So it's really nice to know that they believe in us.
You mentioned Selena. Any advice from her for being on a series like this?
She's amazing. I mean, I was nervous when I first
Yeah.
met her. And actually it wasn't even, I didn't even meet her the first day on set. She and David very sweetly hosted a dinner for just the cast. And we got to
Oh wow.
go and sit and we're Greek. We love food. And by the way, there's my elder son on the show, Alkeo Thiel, is also half Greek. So the Greeks have invaded the Russo fam.
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, David and Selena hosted a dinner, and it was just a beautiful time to get to know each other and watching the way that they both are so supportive of the kids. They make themselves so
Mm,
available to the kids for support. They guide them. I really took cues from the two of them in terms of, what behavior are we modeling for kids? I come to rehearsal every day and my lines are highlighted, and it's not to be the best Girl Scout on the block. It's because I want to be like, listen, these are young actors and I want to show them
yeah.
like I'm coming prepared. I want to be modeling that good behavior because David and Selena certainly do. So I'm also a total goody two shoes. But even if I weren't, I was watching how they really do. They lead by example. And so I really wanted to be part of that. And these kids are so special. It's really an honor to work with everybody.
That's amazing. So we have 21 episodes. What's next for you now? Any other projects you're going to go work on that you're allowed to talk about, or are you taking a break after filming?
So we're done. We work pretty much like, through this week. So it's pretty close to Thanksgiving. So I'm going to take November and December to go see, we're going to see my husband's family for Thanksgiving, and then we're going on a little trip in December, which would be nice. But yeah, I'm wide open in January and February. So we'll see. And then who knows? I mean, we might have a season two by then. We might already be
Right.
working. We might be about to work. I have no idea. So we won't know until the fans know. I mean, pretty much they'll tell us and then tell everybody. So we're
Right.
we're waiting eagerly as well.
That's right. That's awesome. Vivi, let's end this by how can the viewers and the fans and the listeners find you on social media, keep up with you? I know you've been posting a lot about the show.
Yes, yes. I'm posting a lot about the show and sharing a little bit of my life too. I have two fur babies, two pups that I post all the time, and my wonderful husband. But I am most active on Instagram, and that's at Mimi Gianopulos.
All right, Vivi, this was great. Let's get you back on. Hopefully we see a season two.
Yes, thank you so much. I would love
Thank
that.
you.
This was awesome.